Our next speaker will use that same mic that Clarence Zuber was using. And we have another microphone in the podium that can be used by another actor. We're kind of sharing because we're moving this whole event along without practice because of the weather. So you're experiencing it as well as we are. Now it's a good time to change the guard. Do we have anybody else to come in? Does it look like it? When we leave, we ask you to go through the side in, outside from the front, or outside in the back when it's time to leave. And we'll just keep rolling right on through and repeat this event. But right now, we're on to our next speaker.
Can we get it up?
Next, we have Baribeau, who will be joining Mary at her 90th birthday party.
Oh, thanks for coming to my birthday party. Here, have some cake. Yes, oh, thank you for coming. Yeah, I'm turning 90 today. Did you hear? Here, have some cake. Here, have some cake. There you go. Here, have some cake. Pass it around. Here, have some cake. Thanks for coming. There you go. Thanks for coming to my party. I really appreciate it. Yes, thank you. Here, have some cake. Here you go. Thanks for coming. Here you go. Thanks for coming to my party. There you go. Thanks. Thank you all for coming to my 90th birthday party. My name is Mary Baribeau, but my maiden name was Becker. I was born May 31st, 1921, and was the only child of Mary and Thomas Becker in Stockton, California. My parents moved to California from Iowa, and we moved to Oregon shortly after I was born. My parents bought an 80-acre farm outside of Sublimity at the east corner of Silver Falls Highway and Victor Point Road. For elementary school, I went to Oak Grove School. It was a one-room schoolhouse that bordered our property, and it had this bell tower that I remember vividly. I later went to high school at Mount Angel Academy. Since our only form of transportation was a horse and buggy, it took 2.5 hours to travel back and forth between home and school. So instead of traveling back and forth every day, I worked for my room and board and stayed at the boarding school the whole school year. And while I was at school, I didn't get to see my family. After graduating from high school, I attended business school. This helped me learn more skills that would eventually help me in my career. I began my career as a civil servant for the U.S. Department of the Navy at Tongue Point in Astoria. My duties as a civil servant varied quite a bit, and I could be doing clerical work, administrative tasks, working in the library, doing social work, public health, just depending on what was needed that day. I felt my job was really important because it helped with the efficiency of the local government. It was there, as I was serving my country, that I met my husband-to-be, Ralph Baribeau. He had enlisted in the Navy and was stationed at Tongue Point. We married in February of 1949. Our first of 6 children was born in Astoria. The summer after Robert was born, I received word from my mother that my father had passed away from a heart attack as he was chasing the sheep around the farm. My mother was not able to run the farm by herself, so the 3 of us moved to the farm to help her. While on the farm, we added Margaret Mary, Thomas, Ronald, John, and Annette to complete our family. Our lives mainly consisted of working, learning, and our family. Ralph took night courses at Cascade High School to learn more and attended Chemeketa Community College to learn skills in graphic design. We were always busy. I loved gardening. While we were on our farm, my 1-acre garden fed us all. I taught my children how to preserve food and helped make our budget stretch. I would take the children out to the berry fields where we picked fruit and up to the Silverton Hills. We spent a lot of time in peach, apple, cherry, and pear orchards. We were second-generation members of the Union Hill Grange Hall. Now, just so you know, the National Grange Movement started in Oregon in 1873. It was a way to help rural areas recover from the Civil War and to address issues farmers were having, like tight money, high railroad rates, and the lack of effective communication between farmers. The Union Hill Grange in Sublimity played a crucial role in our local community. It was often the focal point for social events, held meetings, and brought a sense of community to the rural area. I remember that on Friday nights, we would have our business and planning meetings. And on Saturdays, we would socialize by having dinner together, play a game of pinochle together, or dance the night away with our friends. We had dances, family celebrations, and we took pride in representing our local farmers at the Oregon State Fair. Our Grange showed off our family's produce at the fair. We would also enter baking, textiles, crafts, photography, and talent into the fair, and we'd come home with cash prizes. The whole family benefited from the Grange. Our kids had youth programs like FFA, 4-H, Scouts, and Rainbow Girls. The Union Hill Grange also helped us farmers by advocating for improvements to our rural roads, new technology for farmers, flood control, and getting electricity to our property. Fun fact, from the beginning, the organization allowed women to vote before Congress did. We had a Grange Day at the state legislature where we could discuss timely issues with state representatives and senators. We helped create Granger laws, which aimed to regulate railroad rates and grain storage fees. I even got my car insurance from the Grange. Union Hill Grange Hall was the center of my family's life for quite a while. In addition to farming and raising our family, Ralph and I both secured jobs outside of the farm. He obtained a job for the state of Oregon in their printing division, and I decided to take a job with the Bureau of Land Management. There I assisted with timber sales. I learned to drive a tractor, but I had to rely on other people getting me to and from work because I didn't get my driver's license until I was in my 40s. We were very loyal to our jobs though, and we both stayed at them until we retired. As far as the farm life was concerned, we stayed there long enough to save up for our family home, which is just over there on Main Street. We were told it was one of the very first homes in Sublimity. The story has it, it moved into town from one of the farms just outside of town. After we bought our home, we felt like we were finally part of the community in the town. We wanted to be active members of that community. So we joined St. Boniface Church, where Ralph was a regular usher on Sundays, and I was a member of the Altar Society. I loved sharing the roses that I grew at our home to decorate the altar here at church. I was also involved in the local garden club, the Professional Secretary Society, and the Home Extension Club. We owned a printing business in Staten called RB Press. Ralph and I enjoyed PTA meetings, leading Cub Scout groups, and square dancing over at Forester Hall. Our home was always filled with friends and family, and we never knew who might stop by. I spent a lot of time canning, making pies, and taking personal enrichment classes. With so many interests and hobbies, life was never dull. But my favorite thing to do was to spend time with my 7 grandchildren. I knew God wanted me to be a servant to others, so I made a point of doing things to help people. whether it was delivering a meal, visiting someone at the hospital, or calling someone who I thought might be lonely, just to let them know I was thinking of them. I also made sure to keep the parish store stocked with all the canned goods I could make, just in time for the annual chicken dinner. Even with all my busyness, I still took time to serve God. My dad used to say that you attend a person's final services not for them, but for those left behind. And I took his words to heart. I attended pretty much every memorial service or funeral for those in the community, whether I knew them or not. Some people tease me about it, but when you serve God, you gotta do what he calls you to do. And then I could go home and call the kids and keep them up to date with the local gossip. In 2004, Ralph passed away. I tried to remain in our home, but it was hard for me to maintain. So my daughter Margaret invited me to live with her family in Jefferson for a while. As my health declined from diabetes and other issues, I stayed in a group home and then a foster home in Staten. I was able to move back to the Marion Estates in Sublimity in time for my 90th birthday, with my friends and my family threw me this beautiful birthday bash. I'm so proud of all my children. It's so nice of them to throw me such a nice party. Each of them has lived a life full of purpose, passion, and love. My oldest, Robert, is an abstract expressionist artist living in New York City, creating beauty and meaning through his work. My son John lives in Texas, where he once sold insurance and also owned a historic bed and breakfast, the Culvert Hotel. His brother John, a gifted chef, ran the kitchen there. Ron's culinary talent was even recognized beyond our family, and some of his recipes were published in the Sunset magazine. My son Tom, who left us too soon at age 52, is buried here with me. He is forever in my heart. He was a juvenile counselor and a youth advocate for challenged youth. My daughter, Margaret Mary, worked as a dedicated home health nurse. She lives in Jefferson, surrounded by her loving family of 3 children and 4 grandchildren. My youngest, Annette, still lives on the original family farmstead. She raised 3 children and now delights in her 21 grandchildren. She served for 45 years as a social worker, making a difference in countless lives. Each one of them has carried our family's legacy forward in their own way, and I couldn't be prouder. I've had 90 years of love, growing in wisdom, and seeking quiet strength from the Lord above. My prayer for you is that your life is filled with peace, joy, and the warmth of a life well lived, like mine was. I hope you too one day hear the words, "Well done, my good and faithful servant."